Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are bringing you everything silver and black, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The Raiders went to Kansas City. And listen, I got to give Andy Reid credit for being a nice guy, because if he really wanted to steer Steve Spurrier this shit, he could have did that. He
Did
could
they
have
really go, though?
Huh?
Did they really go to Kansas City?
I don't know if they went to Kansas City.
They showed up. But...
31-0. Kind of a late recap, but I mean, it's gross to watch the Raiders. It was pretty bad in every single way. And then you're screaming for the backup quarterback to come in the game and just to see something different, and he fumbles a snap immediately. So the first snap, the first play. So Ryan, your thoughts about what happened at Arrowhead with the Raiders and Chiefs?
Yeah, it was a complete dismantling in two phases. We can't even say the kicking game because they didn't really kick off in the game other than the one time because they didn't score. I guess they covered punts well, but offensively they couldn't get anything going. And to me, I don't know what the game plan was going into the game. Like, you're down Jacoby Myers, you're down Brock Bowers, you're on the road. You want to run the ball. You want to turn around and give it to number 2, the guy you took with the 6th pick in the draft. And after 10 plays, they had given it to him one time. And to hear Pete Carroll come out at halftime and basically say, we need to run the football. Like, dude, it's 21-0 and they're about to get the ball. It's going to be 28-0, which it was. Like, too late for that. And to hear him say afterwards that the game plan was to run the ball and do all this stuff and get under center, and like the game got away from him. Well, like, you should be doing that from play one. But the defense doesn't get any, I know there's a lot of Patrick Graham lovers out there. And this was kind of my concern was, like, last week when the defense plays good, everyone says it's because PG called his own defense. And then this week when the defense is horrible, it's because Pete Carroll. So, like, we got to get away from that. Like, they both have to own it. So we don't know who's calling the defense. We know Patrick Graham's calling the plays. We don't know what Pete Carroll's telling him, but for the defense to give up 2 90-yard touchdown runs and a third over 80. So they give 3 drives all over 80 yards, 2 over 90, multiple plays. I want to say 16, 17 play drives, and they just can't get off the field. If you go look at their third down percentage on defense, the last 2 road games, and they scored 71-6, it's alarming how easily teams are converting against them. So they got to get out of stop playing this soft, zone coverage, cover 3. I haven't looked at the all 22. I probably won't this week. So I'm just assuming that they played a lot of cover 3 based on the broadcast tape, but they didn't do a ton of too high, at least from the plays that we saw during the game.
Yeah.
They didn't really do anything to confuse Patrick. It's Patrick Mahomes. Like, you can't just play basic defense. And he just took whatever they gave him. It was, all right, you're going to give this 5 to 10 yard passes wide open. I'm just going to take them all the way down the field. And, for the Raiders to try to count on negative plays affecting the quarterback, getting sacks. They didn't have sacks. They barely even touched Patrick Mahomes, and counting on the referees to call penalties on the Chiefs. That's not going to happen either. So, like, at some point, you just got to be aggressive. And I saw Rex Ryan on ESPN, I want to say Monday. It wasn't related to the Raiders or Chiefs game, but he was basically like, if you're a defensive coordinator, just come after the guy. I mean, you're going to give up 20, 24, 28 points a week.
Yes.
You might as well come after him and try to stop him twice and get turnovers and try to make big plays and play man coverage. I think he was talking about Eberflus with Dallas and how fed up he is watching teams just play zone defense.
Yep.
And how, like, just letting teams complete balls underneath and just take you down the field it's a recipe for disaster. The Raiders obviously don't have an offense that can get into a shootout. We were concerned about this in week 2 when we said, are we already talking about trying to score 20 points? Like, they can't even score touchdowns right now. Yeah. There's 3 games where they haven't even scored a touchdown. I've been defending Chip Kelly, like, watching the all-22 the first few weeks of the season. The last 2 weeks, I can't do it. Like, at some point, they're paying you $6 million. You have to get creative. You have to figure out how to get the ball to Michael Mayer. You have to figure out how to get the ball to guys that you have on this roster, Trey Tucker. And when we're paying you $6 million, you have to figure out how to get Genty involved. Like, why are we calling a screen to Genty when you're down 31-0? We've been crying and screaming for that all season. He waits to show it when it's 31-0. Why not just keep that in your bag and call it next week against Jacksonville or when they get back from the bye? So Patrick Graham's on notice.
Mhm.
Chip Kelly's on notice. Pete Carroll's on notice. Now, I don't think Mark Davis is going to do anything drastic here. I don't think no one's getting fired during the season. I don't think that's happening. But
Well,
at the end
hopefully,
of the year,
let's
at
hope
the end
not.
of the year, it's going to be a question. Do they just move on from Pete Carroll and try to retain, Chip Kelly? But like the new coach is going to want his own offense coordinator. Like you're paying
Yeah.
Chip Kelly $6 million a year. Like I think it's probably 80% at this point. They're all coming back except for Patrick Graham. I don't think Patrick Graham's coming back. I don't think he wants anything to do with Pete Carroll getting his
Nope.
hands on the defense.
Nope.
I don't know what Rob Leonard wants to do. But at some point, if something had to happen this year, I would think that Pete Carroll would move on from Patrick Graham at some point. If this thing just goes even further off the rails, which is hard to do, but if they're 3-10, 3-12, the defense is giving up 30 points a week. They could probably hand the play calling over to the linebacker coach who was with, I want to say he was with Pete Carroll when he was in Seattle, but it was a tough game. Like they didn't do anything. They couldn't get a first down. They couldn't get a first down. They gave up 21 first downs in the first half. Someone was tweeting back at me during the game on Twitter at halftime, like blaming the defense or blaming the offense, and then trying to like say Patrick Graham's like a hero, and it's like they
Yeah.
gave up 21 first downs and a half. I don't care what the offense is doing.
Yeah.
At some point, go get a stop. But
Yeah.
it was tough. Like at this point, I'm afraid Pete Carroll's going to dig in his heels, and he thinks, "Hey, we're 2-5. If we can just win next week, we'll be 3-5. We can right the ship." They just need to give up on that at this point and play the young guys. They're playing a lot of young guys, but there's plenty of other young guys they could play. The
Mhm.
journeyman, 1 year veteran that you brought in, like
Yeah.
a Landon Roberts, love you, Landon Roberts, but like we should see Tommy Eichenberg on passing downs just to see if he can do it. We know Landon can't do it.
Yeah.
And Landon won't be on this team next year. Like you can have him in on first down and be a run stuffer. Let's mix in some Tommy Eichenberg. Let's see Darian Porter. Hell, let's see DeCameron Richardson. Like when we go to nickel, do we need to see Darnay Holmes? Darnay Holmes won't be here next year. Like let's see Richardson go outside and move. Let's put Eric Stokes in the slot and see if he gives us some flexibility. And just start moving these guys around. Get guys snaps. Like Stone
I mean,
Forsythe hasn't been terrible. I know people want to scream that he's awful. He hasn't been, but at this point, let's see Charles Grant. You're 2-5.
yeah.
They just need to start
No.
making some changes here.
Yeah, no question about it. I just think for me is, when you look at, I don't, every game starts off 0-0. And I just,
It's true.
that's on my track.
Fact check. That's true.
That's true. And I don't understand like how teams, and this is my biggest thing. I watch all these teams. I will watch, the Colts
Browns
play.
Jets.
I watch the Colts play. I watch even the Browns play, and their top tight end goes out, and then the focal point of the passing game is going to be the kid out of Bowling Green. They get him the ball consistently throughout the game. I watch all these teams get the ball to their primetime players at the beginning of games to set kind of the tone and get them involved. Like I do like to know what Chip Kelly is seeing that makes him say, I am not gonna get this offense started through Genty. Like I don't get that shit. Like it's weird to me. I don't get it. I mean, I don't know if like he's like one of these people my father talked about when he says you're gonna meet people in life who are so smart they're stupid. Like, I mean, like, I don't understand how you can look at this situation and say, okay, I'm the missing Mayor. I'm missing Bowers. I don't have Jacoby Myers in the game. Like I'm missing all these pieces. The two guys who can give me Genty and Tucker until I throw up. Until they have to come out the game and like, coach, they're calling out for the coach to come get them. Like that's how much I want to see him get the ball. Like 6 times, it's just not enough. And like I don't understand. I mean, put him in orbit motion. Give him like a give Tucker something on the end around, like like give me something with Genti, like dudes, like what? Like I don't understand the concept of not getting your best players who you watch any game in for college football and pro football. You see these teams get their best players the football. What is in your mindset that says, oh, I am not gonna give the sixth pick in the draft the football? Like I don't understand. I mean, there's and if you say anything, they say that they tell you that all these guys are smarter than me. So okay, fine. Like he may be able to call plays because he's qualified to call plays, but like I am going to give my star players the football at the beginning of the game and at the end of the game and throughout the game. Because I mean, it just if him gets like what did he have 8, 10? What do you have 8 touches in the game? Well,
I
yeah,
have
yeah,
the Bucks for right here.
yeah. I got the he had 6 rushes, 7 touches in the entire game.
One catch. Yeah, the screen when it was
Well, yeah,
31-0.
yeah. I mean, like, well, like, what are we doing, bro? Like, what are we doing? And if I mean, listen, Gino has been an absolute, and like everything they've done. Like, I mean, like, what was the point of not playing Mostert early in the season? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, like just all these little things, healthy scratches for folks who make it just makes no sense. You're putting Tucker in. I mean, you're putting not Tucker. You're putting Thornton in. Thornton three. A offer for him. All I heard was he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that.
It's Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson. Come
It's
on,
just Randy Moss,
get on board.
Johnson. Like I'm telling, I mean, like seriously, like the Tennessee guys, wide receivers, they don't run a pro offense. Just so people know, the Tennessee the Tennessee Volunteers do not run a pro style offense, folks. So there's gonna be a learning curve when they bring wide receivers into the league. So I don't know, man. I mean, like that is just that whole thing makes no sense. I'm totally with you on the defensive part of it. Like you're gonna give me the fast death, bro. Like even in the fast, like people are more likely to make a mistake under pressure than when they're relaxed. So if
Just
you
create turnovers. Like Patrick Graham's defenses have never
100
created turnovers ever.
100%, if you go at, I don't understand how you sit there and just be like, okay, we're just gonna rush forward and drop everybody. Like he's gonna sit back, have a sip of coffee, and then try to throw long. If that long play is not available, they're just gonna throw it short to Kelsey, throw it short to Hollywood Brown, whoever's the check down, and then they're gonna keep moving the ball.
Yeah, I think on the Chip Kelly front, it is alarming because he's had good offenses everywhere he's been. Even when he was in the NFL, they could run the football and score points. Like
Yeah.
they're not doing that at all. And I think at times he probably came into this game saying we need to score points. Like, let's trick them. They think we're going to run it. Well, let's throw it. But the problem is every pass he attempted was at or behind the line of scrimmage. Like, I think Geno Smith threw 4 passes past the line of scrimmage. Like, they didn't take any shots down the field. They didn't vertically stretch this defense. The defense just started crowding the line of scrimmage,
Yep.
and then it's over. And the offense just isn't meshing right now because I think what we saw Tucker kind of take over that vertical spot that we saw Thornton in early in the season. So he's running a lot of clear outs, a lot of deep routes to try to open stuff up underneath. So it's hard to make him the focal point of the offense doing that. And now you're asking him to go back and play a different position when you want to put Thornton on the field because Myers is not available. And then you're throwing Besh in there. And Thornton, for what he is like he's a long starter that can run and he can sprint. Like he can't sink his hips and get in and out of his cuts. He's not going to shake anybody underneath. He does not get any separation on his routes unless he wins vertically. So he's not going to be good running across the middle of the field unless it's some of these shallows. Like he's not running a dig route. He's not running like a 10-yard out route, and he's not running a comeback route and creating a ton of separation. There's just not a lot of options right now, too. And we don't even need to talk about how bad Geno Smith's playing. Like, to me, I think my problem with Geno Smith, he's not a fit for what Chip Kelly wants to do, first of all.
Yep.
If you watch Chip Kelly's offense, it's kind of tailored to attack the middle of the field. And the problem with Geno Smith is he doesn't anticipate stuff. He holds the ball. He doesn't trust his offensive line. And when he's in Seattle, he was taking vertical shots outside the numbers to DK Metcalf and just throwing it. Okay, one-on-one outside, I'm throwing it deep. Like those options aren't available in this offense. So he's having to think and read defenses and do stuff that he didn't have to do in Seattle. That's on Pete Carroll for not understanding the offensive coordinator I hired versus what the quarterback can do. Like those two are just not a match. Like Geno Smith can't run the offense the way Chip Kelly wants. So it's up to Chip Kelly this week to try to change that and take more vertical shots. The problem is Trey Tucker's a tiny guy. Like he's not winning 50-50 balls. Like when he's
Yeah.
winning, he's not running a go route. Like if he's going to get separation, it's going to be on post routes and corner routes where he can run away from people deep overs. Thornton just physically can't win right now. So like they really don't have anyone that you can just say line up outside
Yep.
and win vertically. So they're in a tough spot personnel wise. And to me, and I don't think Kenny Pickett's a long-term answer, but like when you saw Kenny Pickett come in, the fumble aside, like he made two quick decisions, got the ball out of his hands, completed both passes, kept him, moving a little bit. They didn't get a first down. I understand it was 2 for 2 for 8 yards, but like he doesn't turn the ball over. He can probably throw the ball over the middle of the field and just have better timing and anticipation because that's what this offense needs. They need timing and anticipation and to run the ball a little bit. And Geno doesn't give them that. So that's just where I would go. They're not going to bench Geno Smith.
Yeah.
But I think right now what we're seeing is Geno Smith and Chip Kelly are not a match. And this is what the offense looks like. So what are they going to do moving forward? They can't keep doing what they're doing. So they either have to adjust the offense to try to take more vertical strikes. And maybe
Yeah.
that happens when Brock Bowers comes back. Like, let's remember Brock Bowers isn't this offense either. But if we go back to week one, it's not like they lit up the world. They scored 20 points.
Yeah.
We're clamoring for let's go back to week one when they scored 20, but at least Geno, threw for 342 yards. He hit some vertical shots. He hit Thornton down the field.
Yeah.
Um, I'm more concerned about the defense too. Not more, but I'm equally as concerned about the defense because if Max Crosby is not Max Crosby, you saw what we've been talking about on the show for weeks. There's not another guy in this roster that can win one-on-one. We
Nope.
saw it. Like we saw four guys out there and get stonewalled. Whether that's Wilson or Kuntz, I don't know what's going on with Kuntz this year. Like uh, pass rush win rate is like exit velo to me. It's great. But you know what? Someone's eventually you want to get a hit and eventually got to sack the
Exactly.
quarterback.
Yeah. Get to the quarterback.
So
Yeah.
you can have a 20% win rate. If you don't have any sacks, that's great.
Yeah.
You're not affecting the game. So unless you're consistently getting there and you're getting pressure and causing turnovers, when your cornerbacks are playing 10 yards off everybody and everyone's always wide open, it doesn't really matter. So maybe the Raiders take Devin White off the field and passing downs. Like they just have to do something.
Yeah.
Um, Pull him out is hurt right now. We don't know if he's going to play. Like, is Lonnie Johnson the answer? I don't think so. Lonnie Johnson's been a backup for his whole career, and he's been a special teams guy. So, like, let's not think he's going to come in here and be a savior and be this Earl Thomas free safety that's just going to resurrect the defense. So, at this point, to me, it's learn about the young guys, the guys they've drafted in the last year or two. Like, I'd love to see Cameron Richardson out there because he can actually play man. Like, if we want to start playing some more man, he's a guy. Like, you can play more cover one. Like, you could probably play man with Richardson. Maybe Porter. Porter can run. Let's not forget that. And Stokes. But you can't do it with Kai Blue Kelly and Darnay Holmes out there with pull them out free safety. So
Yeah.
um
And I do believe Adam. I think I think Adam Butler. Hopefully he can come back too. I think he got hurt as well too. So that he's been one of the most consistent guys they've had up front as well.
I will say this for all the people that are crying on Twitter about why are these guys inactive? And I posted this like, okay, you're gonna have three or four defensive tackles active on game day. Who are you sitting? Like Booker's a young
Yeah.
guy. Balalu's a second year guy. Butler's your best guy. And so
Uh-huh.
it's like, are you sitting one of those guys to play Hemingway and Pegues? By the way, both of those guys have been active for multiple games. So let's
Yeah.
not act like they haven't put the uniform on. And Charles Grant is active. I would like to see him move more into a starting role at this point, just get him more snaps. Because at this point, you need to evaluate who's going to be on this roster next year.
Yep.
Like, let's not wait until week 15 and we get 2 or 3 games of these guys. Like, let's get 10 games of these guys and figure out yes or no. Like, do we need to address tackle again next year? Um, Caleb Rogers, like at some point he's going to have to play. And for me personally, put Powers Johnson back at center and play Rogers. But we have to remember Rogers has been practicing as the left guard, not the right guard. So like you have Parham there. So like, are you going to move Parham in the middle of the season to the right side? Are you going to ask a rookie who's been playing left to go to the right?
Mhm.
And that's kind of the other reason why he hasn't been active. Like if you're going to activate Caleb Rogers, he's your emergency like interior guy. He has to be able to play left and right. And that's why they've gone a veteran. But we don't need to see Alex Kappa anymore. He won't be on this team next year. I love
Yeah.
how when they asked Pete Carroll about the young guys in the press conference, he just said, "Well, we do in practice. We give them reps in practice." And then he immediately said, "Well, Carter Runyon got a catch. Carter Runyon's an undrafted free agent, so he's your fourth tight end. Like, I'm more worried about the third round picks you're not playing, Pete, than the undrafted free agent who's the fourth option at tight end." So, um,
Yeah.
I think I'm done with the Dylan Lobby experiment. I don't think he's going to be on this team next year. Like, can we play another running back? He's not a great
Yeah.
kick returner either. Like people act like he's this phenomenal Devin Hester kick returner. He's not, dude. He's a bottom four kick returner in the NFL. And he doesn't give you anything on offense other than the occasional pass out of the backfield. But like we
Yeah.
can do better there. So
Yeah.
let's see what the Raiders do coming out. But they definitely need to make changes. I need the offensive line to look a little bit different.
Mm.
And I need some of these younger defensive players to get in the lineup.
And JPJ got out of this game as well, got pulled out of this game for Kappa again. And again, like I don't know what we're again, this whole like Kappa versus JPJ war that continues to fester with the Raiders kind of makes no sense. I don't know I don't know what they're doing there. I mean, I think somebody put out some stats that kind of showed that Meredith isn't as bad as we thought or
He's
whatever,
terrible.
I, Ryan, I know this shit. Yeah, I
I
totally
would
agree
take
with you.
Andre James back, and I was probably the biggest Andre James
I hated
hater
Andre. I hate
on
Andre
the
James.
planet.
With his butterfly snaps to the quarterback, the ball just goes back there. Take a half an hour to get back to the quarterback. Yeah. So
Other
I mean,
teams know it too. They're just going to put their best guy, the biggest interior guy, right on top of Meredith, and it's over.
it's crazy, and I've watched it. It'd be interesting to see how they protect against the Jaguars and then the following Sunday because I watched them play like 3 or 4 times this year, and that defensive coordinator is Blitzberg. He comes after the quarterback as much as he can. He takes the fast death. He took a fast death against the Rams in London. He takes a fast death, and I don't know. It won't be a death with the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders who comes back. But like that experiment is just pissing people. It's just pissing people off. Like you're not winning games. You're pissing off the fan base because you don't do what it is. Your son came on. I don't know if you saw the video with him talking about the offensive
Was he
line,
high? Like he looked
dude.
high to me. His eyes rolling in the back of his
I'm
head while he's
happy Ryan
talking.
saying this, not me. Everybody
I was
knows.
like, "What the hell am I watching?"
Yes, I do like the people who gave him who like put the video up, and then the next video clicked on was Undertaker with his eyes rolled back like that one. That's what you look like as far as that. My thing is how you supposed to look, how you look older than your father. Like what's going on over there? Yeah. Anyway, like all the Carols are. I mean, this thing is just they're struggling. And
I think with JPJ, we have to remember he went up against Chris Jones, which is not an excuse, but like he went up against an
thank
all-pro
you. I was
future
just gonna
Hall of
say that.
Famer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
He didn't have a good game. He had a penalty. He gave up a sack, a couple of pressures. But who on this team hasn't had a bad game? Like Dylan Parham's had plenty of bad games. Jordan Merritt's had
Yes.
several. Like Jackson Powers Johnson is their best run blocker, and it's not close. Like if they want to run the football, he has to be on the field. He can move people. Now, is he how am I going to say this? Is he penalty prone? Yes. Like he commits penalties. He has to tone that back. But he's only going to get better if he plays. And this team is going nowhere. And if he's not a part of the future, then you just wasted a second round pick from last year. And he's proven that he can play at a high level when he's on. Like he does have some mental lapses there that he does need to work on. DJ Glaze, I'm
Mhm.
starting. I thought he had a chance to be an average right tackle, which, I know a lot of people in the NFL think the worst player on the team's average. An average player in the NFL is a really good player. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had a chance to be average. Now he's
Yeah.
probably more of a swing tackle at the end of this when the dust settles in 2 or 3 years and we can look back on DJ Glaze.
Do we need an entire? I mean, like, do we need an entire new offensive line for next year? Like
Well,
an
no,
entire.
You're gonna have Colton Miller back,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
would hope that Powers Johnson align whoever the coaching staff is, if it's this one or the next one, he at least solidifies himself somewhere. But you're probably gonna need three,
yeah,
um, if you want to like be really good. Can you play DJ Glaze? Yeah, if he's a fringe tackle, you can get away with that. Like there's
yeah,
ways to protect him, but like they need to start helping him. They need to put someone over on that side. They need to chip with him. Um, they're doing a lot of kind of the stuff that Josh McDaniels did offensive line wise when they first got here, where he had the tackle like kind of reaching inside and not really committing to the outside, trying to help that inside shoulder, and then they get beat around the corner. Like I don't see a lot of other teams doing that. This is the second time I've seen the Raiders do that in the last couple of years, and it kind of drives me crazy. Like,
Yeah.
but I get it. Chris Jones was lined up on his inside and he's trying to help Powers Johnson. But yeah, probably they need three. They're going to need at least three. If they want to bring Parham back, like on a modest deal, maybe. But
Yeah.
like maybe they need at least two. Like I don't think Jordan Meredith should be. He's a backup. Like let him be the backup guy that can play all three spots, and he's the perfect guy to have on the bench and bring in. He should be playing the Alex Kappa role. You should have a starting NFL center on this team. And then, because if you don't fix that offensive line, it doesn't matter if you have Genty or Bowers. And I hear a lot of people, like I've seen a lot of the chatter about draft the rookie quarterback. I'm all in. Draft a rookie quarterback. I don't care who it is. Just draft one. You won't know unless you try. I didn't like Jackson Dart. I was wrong. Jackson Dart looks like he's going to be really good. I didn't think he was going to be very good. So you have to take him to find out.
Mhm.
If you don't take him, you're never going to find out.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, like people are saying, well, you can't do that with this offensive line. But what happens is once you get that rookie quarterback in the building, and as long as he's not completely terrible, you attract better head coaches, coaching options.
Candidates,
They're
yes,
never going to get
100%.
a good head coaching candidate
Yeah.
if they don't have someone on the roster the head coach can say, I can build around that guy.
Exactly.
That guy's not Aiden O'Connell. That guy's not Kenny Pickett, and that guy's not Geno Smith. So like, it's not Cam Miller either. Let's be honest, Cam Miller looks like it was a shot in the dark and it didn't work. But it's just the whole direction of Pete Carroll basically now sitting back and saying, I thought would be further along. I win 10 games. That's what I do. Like, there's a
Okay.
disconnect. There's a
Okay.
disconnect somewhere between
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, John Spytek, and Tom Brady
Mm.
to where this isn't aligning. So at the end of the year, like, I'd love to see Pete Carroll basically just step back and some magical, I go into an advisory role. I don't want to say like some medical mishap comes up because I don't wish that upon anyone. But like if he just had to step aside, like I don't think they're going to come out and just flat out fire him. But he should look in the mirror and say, you know what, I got 2 years left, 3 years left. This thing's going to take a while. I don't want to coach a rookie quarterback. I don't want to go through this. It didn't go the way I wanted, and look for the betterment of the organization down the line.
You're
So
still going to get paid regardless. So it's not a
uh,
money thing.
the worst thing you can do like is take that rookie quarterback, let Pete Carroll come back for one more year, and then blow the whole thing up, and then have to be year two of a
Yes.
rookie quarterback and bring a whole new staff in. It's like they have to
Exactly.
make it. They have to align everything and keep John Spytek in the role. Let him have an opportunity here to build this thing, and we'll
Yeah.
see how he does. But you can't change the general manager every year either.
You can't do that. No question about it. And Tankathon right now, the Jets are number one. The Dolphins are two. Saints, Titans, who won't be looking for a quarterback. Baltimore, who won't be looking for a quarterback. Cleveland, and then the Raiders are at seven. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy to be thinking about it right now, but it's where we are because the team looks really bad. As far as that goes. 98, 98. Everybody's trying to trade for 98. The Cowboys, everybody, all the fans are talking about trading Max Crosby. Max Crosby, I guess, met with the Raiders brass, and they told him that he wasn't going anywhere. So Max Crosby is not getting traded at least this season. I
He
don't.
also said he didn't want to go anywhere. So
I
that's the other side
yeah.
of it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So yet. Let's see. Yet. Listen. If the Raiders do entertain that in the offseason, if the phone call doesn't start with two ones, then the phone call is just going to get disconnected. You're
I
getting.
wouldn't even answer it.
I'm not going to answer it. I'm going to like, are we? My phone rings. Another team's calling. Two ones. We're done. We're done with the conversation. I think Dallas has two ones this year. With the Micah trade, right? Let me just double check that real
But
quick.
the
But
issue is, would
yeah,
you trade him for pick 27 and 29? I wouldn't. It's the Packers pick and the Cowboys pick. So like
yeah.
both of those teams are going to be in the playoffs at this point, barring major injuries to either franchise. And you're talking about picks in the mid to late 20s. Um,
I'm not trading him. Right, I'm not trading
they,
him.
they don't have to trade him right now. They
Yeah,
just signed him to a 3-year extension.
there's no reason to trade him.
you don't trade him in season because one, you're not going to get the value that you would get in the offseason because there's not going to be as many teams involved. Like you're going to narrow yourself down to 2 or 3 teams if you try to do it in season
If
based on
you,
cap space and
yeah,
capital. I want to know where the draft picks fall. So I'm wait till
yeah,
the offseason. And
yeah.
if teams want to call and someone's got a pick in the 10 to 15 range that wants him and wants to give you additional capital, I'll have that conversation at that
We're,
point.
right now, Dallas is at 13. But they are going to be
They're going to make the playoffs.
they're going to win 9, 8. They're going to win between 8 and 10 games with that offense,
Yeah.
probably, most likely. Yeah, most
And
likely.
Green Bay is going to make the playoffs most likely, and then depending on how far they go. So you're talking about early to mid 20s or late 20s if they get to the NFC Championship game. So,
Mhm.
um, no, I'm not trading Max Crosby. Like, you
Yeah,
know how hard it is
mhm.
to get pass rushers. As long as he wants to be here, he can stay. Like
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
my opinion. I'm not here to trade.
His contract isn't killing the Raiders.
No,
No.
and he's on a Hall of Fame path. Like, why would you trade him if he wants to be here?
Are we
Um,
are we having enough of just okay? Can we just not trade any good players? Can we just keep our good players?
it's
Can we
hard enough to
cook?
get him.
I mean, it's hard enough to get them, and the fact that they want to stay in Vegas with the Raiders, and even though the Raiders are a shit show, like, can we just keep our good players and just like build around their good players? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think next year's draft, if they can somehow get to the top five, top four, and they're able to draft a quarterback and then draft offensive line and defensive line in the draft and hopefully get some young athletes around Max Crosby. I mean, his work ethic is amazing. His level of energy during these games is great. Wouldn't it'd be nice to actually have him be able to take a couple plays off and like actually have stuff a pass rush, like so kind of shit like that. Like that'd be kind of nice.
The one thing that does creep in is he's been injured quite a bit the last 2 years. So like if the injury bug's starting to get there, he's 28 years old. Like
Mhm.
not this year. I would like to play next year. And then if after next season, after the 2026 season, this thing is still horrific, then you
Yeah,
can talk about it. But
yeah,
let's try to build this for a couple of years before. Now, if someone called me about Tyree Wilson right now and gave me anything, I would trade Tyree Wilson. Like he's not in the long-term plans. You're not going to pick up the fifth-year option. Like if someone wanted to give you a fourth or fifth round pick for Tyree Wilson, take
yeah,
it. Because his days are numbered. And I remember coming on, I don't know if there's this podcast or a different one, like year two, I said, Abram, Farrell, their days are numbered. They will not be Raiders when their contracts are up. And I'm there. Tyree Wilson, it's year three. I
it's
haven't
over.
seen I haven't seen a lot enough. Like the get off
It's
is
over.
slightly better, but like there's still no pass rush plan. He's just trying to bull rush people. He's an okay run defender. Um, he's a rotational piece, and you took him seven. Like you have to move on. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure this front office didn't draft him either. So like
yeah,
if there's a team out there that had a first round grade on him, and we know there's several that's willing to give up a fourth or fifth round pick at this year, at this point, take him. I would start looking at veterans on a 1 year deal. Like who's going to be a free agent? If somebody wants, some of these guys, like if someone wanted Devin White, they could probably have him at this point for
yeah,
a sixth round pick. If someone wanted, Eric Stokes, if someone wanted Malcolm Kuntz, like it's time to have those conversations because
yeah,
this team, and we're not in the draft season yet, so people don't realize it yet, but this team traded away a fifth round pick for Kenny Pickett, who they refused to play. They went out and said if Geno's here's what they did in the offseason. We're going to trade for Geno Smith. So they gave
yeah,
up a third and then they traded a fifth for Kenny Pickett. The insurance plan behind Geno Smith was not draft a quarterback. They didn't do it. Like they drafted Cam Miller in the sixth round. That's a throwaway pick. That doesn't count.
yeah,
Their backup plan was let's trade a fifth for Kenny Pickett, which made sense at the time, and it still does make sense. But it's time to cash in on the insurance plan, and they're not even doing that. Um, so they don't have a fifth round pick next year because they traded it for Kenny Pickett, who they refused to play. And again, Kenny Pickett is not the answer. But if you can just get a guy that can go in there, throw the ball over the middle of the field, not turn it over, and keep some drives alive, that's way better than what Geno Smith's doing right now. And like I
yeah,
said, like just watch the film. Geno Smith and Chip Kelly don't match. It's a bad fit.
yeah. No question about it. There's no question about it. I really, like I said, I don't think Crosby's going anywhere.
They thought this
Um,
team was so good that they traded for Geno Smith and they traded a pick for next year for a backup quarterback who was a
we
veteran because if
we could
something
have,
happened,
yeah,
they wanted to keep the momentum, and this team's not going to win 5 games.
We could use a third and fifth round pick from last year's draft. We could use one of those guys. I mean, who knows who they would have taken. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's
Well, the
crazy.
fifth round pick is in next year's draft because they made that trade in August.
Yeah.
So we don't have a fifth next year.
What this team does
Now,
is
Spytek
amazing.
has shown that he can move around and accumulate draft picks. They're going to have comp picks.
Yeah.
If someone wants Jacoby Myers, and it's funny, Jacoby Myers, they asked him yesterday, do you still want to be traded? He said, yeah, basically, yeah, sure, I do. Yeah, I want to be traded. He
he's,
literally
he's
said it at his
he's being
conference.
honest. I love it. He's being honest.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of hurting the trade value too. Like other
Yeah.
teams know that, so like they're
Yeah.
probably going to hold on to him based on the comp pick
But don't you?
formula.
Yeah, but yeah, I was gonna say, don't you have to trade him for if you're gonna get value, you have to trade him for higher than what the comp pick would be, right?
Assuming you're going to get a four for him, there makes no sense to trade him for anything less than a
Not
four.
four, yeah, yeah.
So he may be stuck here. At this point, if I'm a team, I'm not offering a four. Like he's on an
Mhm.
expiring deal. Um, he doesn't want to be there. Like I no, I wouldn't take a six. Like what are you doing? Like just wait and get the comp pick. Um, I will add this: people are giving John Spytek a lot of crap for like, and we've talked about this in the past. Is not using the cap space. Let's remember, it's not about cap space. It's about cash. The Raiders spent the least amount of cash
Yep.
in 2024. That is an ownership issue. Mark Davis sets the budget. I've never met a GM in the history of sports that won't spend money that has money to spend.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm assuming there was a budget going into 2025, and they spent most of that cash re-signing Max Crosby and going for Geno Smith. So like
So when
cap
is
space doesn't
the
matter if the owner says you have X amount of dollars of cash, and once that's gone, it doesn't matter if there's cap space left. So that's a Mark Davis issue. So Mark Davis is going to have to let them spend. So if John Spytek had cash to spend and didn't spend it, then that's on him. But that rarely happens.
I mean, when are we like when is the purse strings going to be opening? I'm opening here. I mean, I'm looking at like all the events at Allegiant, and they're just they.
Well,
I
he doesn't
mean,
get all of that.
they get all of it, but he gets some of it, and I mean, and he bought the Darth Vader house out
I
there
will
in
say this: the
Henderson.
Raiders, for the record, one, two, three, four. They're the fifth least amount in cash spent this year. So they went from last to bottom to basically the fifth most. So like they had all that cap room. Where's the cash? Why didn't they spend it? You know why?
Yeah.
Because ownership didn't give it to them.
I
So we can stop
mean,
blaming Spytek for that.
I mean, that's that. I mean, if it, you got to give them the purse strings in the year two, because I mean, if you don't give them the cash for year two, that's just going to be like that's brutal. That's going to be just brutal to watch this
Yeah.
team. No, I mean, because you got to be able to spend money to be. I'm not saying, and people will go on Twitter and say, "Oh, who would you want to spend the money on?" It's like, but you have to spend to be competitive. You have to, and then when I mentioned that, they were like, Who's in that bottom five? Are the Lions in that bottom five? Or who's in that bottom five?
I'll give it
Money
to you right
spent.
here.
Yeah. Because I think a couple of good teams were in there. People were like, "Well, look,
Yeah.
so and so's not spending money."
The
So
Saints
the Saints, okay,
are the worst. The Rams,
yep,
but they didn't have a ton of holes on their roster.
yes, 100
So
percent.
where are they going to go spend money? Like they spent money on Matthew Stafford.
And
They have a
and
ton of young
yeah,
talent, and they
yeah.
went and got Devontae
And the
Adams.
fun and yeah, Adams and the quarterback make most of the money.
I'm sorry, the Seahawks. But again, the Seahawks had a good young roster, and they went out and got Sam Darnold,
Yeah,
and they're winning. So good teams don't have to spend money if you already have a good young roster.
or the teams you mentioned have quarterbacks too, which is
And then
interesting.
and then you want to know the rest? Here's where they fit in:
Yeah,
Jets, Raiders, Titans, Cardinals, Falcons, Panthers, Patriots. Like there's your
yeah, that just seems yeah. But I mean, but a lot of those teams we mentioned again, they've drafted or have a franchise quarterback right now.
now remember when you spend cash, that's also accumulating. Like if you're I don't know, you're the Chiefs and you have five guys on your roster making 25, $30 million, let's say, that's cash spent. The Raiders don't have those kind of players on their roster. So
Yes.
like teams can spend money. Like the Chiefs are the third most in cash. Why? Because they're paying Chris Jones. They're
Yep.
paying Patrick Mahomes. They're paying Travis Kelce. Like they're paying George Karlaftis. They're paying all these guys on their team. They're paying Jawan Taylor's making a ton of money. They just re-signed Creed Humphrey. Like they're spending their money on their own players. Where the Raiders have gotten it wrong is like when they get the players in the building, they let them go. They don't spend it there, and then they're not spending in free agency because a lot of guys at this point probably don't want to come here based on what's happened over the last 5 to 10 years or